Also in race number 3, Sweens, a very impressive Gift of Power, who really stamped herself last start.
Yeah, she really was. A very good afternoon to you, Jason. Welcome into Awapuni. We're under beautiful and warm skies at the present moment. I have caught up with Kim Treweek. We'll play that before the first on the program. He sort of indicated, as we heard from Ken Rutherford in the north, that it's been a really tricky week of working out what to do with these track conditions, because there's been parts of Palmerston North that have got 45, 50 mils in a couple of hours and been flooded completely, whereas Awapuni just hasn't got it. It's been very isolated, so very, very tricky to work out what to do through the week. They did put water on early on in the week, a good dose there, and they've had a couple of sprinklings, but the track conditions, it's dead 5, should improve into that dead 4 condition. Yes, you mentioned Gift of Power. I think the key to her is that Lisa just let her roll at Otaki. Chris has fought her on occasions, and that has played against her. I thought it was an immense performance at Otaki. There is that swing in the weights, isn't there, towards the bottom of the book. That's an interesting factor to sort of put into your thought process when analysing the race. But yeah, she's pretty smart, Gift of Power, no doubt about that. And Eulogy, maybe we see a couple of the proven horses against one of the Baker and Forsman up-and-comers. That's an interesting race as well. Not big in numbers, Jason, but I think the 3-year-old quality is certainly there in that race.
Yeah, looking forward to it for sure, because as you mentioned, it touts a horse that was 4th at Group 1 level last start, Secret Allure, up against some up-and-coming fillies that haven't been tried yet but have a lot of potential about them. Race number 3, the Gift of Power race, is the Plumbing World Handicap. Gift of Power herself is $1.75 with Rockin' Affair at $2.90. Stephen Hunt, you mentioned earlier that Gift of Power is attracting good support and hence her shortening from an opening quote of 1.9.
Clearly best back runner on the program at Awapuni in the Central Districts, Jace. $1.75 trading off a peak of $1.90. The other thing to take in here, punters, is the lack of money around Rockin' Affair. Bevan mentioned that it does meet Gift of Power slightly better off in the weights, I think 3.5 kilograms from when they last met, but it's no concern to punters around Gift of Power to $1.75 and could start even shorter at $1.70, maybe $1.65 from what I'm seeing. There's no money for Rock My Soul, Henny and Resurrect, the other 3 runners in this particular race. So multi-special Gift of Power with around about 600 odd multis running through her currently.
Does the Form Pro Speed Map have it handlebars down for Gift of Power as we saw last start? Yes. And as you mentioned, Sweens, probably the key to the race.
Yes, I thought early on in the week when prices came out, this was going to be my $100 strategy. Just put it on at $1.90 and take your 90% profit on your spend. But I just went through this race a couple more times and thought about that weight swing. I'm not quite so convinced myself personally. Yes, she's got really good quality about her, but Rockin' Affair has been very good beating Gift of Power at Trentham, and then just a little bit unlucky in behind. It just got held up at a crucial moment when trying to get into it. As you'll see, Justin behind them had to go through runners. I thought that was a good fact. The horse took that gap and then came to the outside of the next runner in decision and got out and after it. Now there's that weight swing, and I think this horse can sit directly on the back of Gift of Power if they're really on their mojo, and we know Madan Singh's process of riding, and it's generally set them a lot early and put them in the race. So I thought it wasn't one I decided to really anchor because it looked the obvious best bet on the program, and then just eased in my thoughts. And it's an interesting day right across as we pick up Rock My Soul, Jace, because you do your markets, you look at your form, and you do your form, and then you go and look at the prices that the bookmakers have put up, and either I'm wrong or they're wrong here this afternoon, we'll see. But there are some really interesting betting markets later on in the day where prices are a little bit longer than you would expect. But this horse has been very, very good. First time back at the races now with an injury-prone horse like him, second up with such a big fresh effort. Now this horse did do that at Otaki, fresh up last preparation, and then just found track conditions a little bit tough at Trentham on the good going. So I'm just worried about Rock My Soul second up after that long injury break going so big fresh. So it's a 2-horse race, whichever way you look at it, Jason. I ended up just going with Rockin' Affair over the 2, but I'd like to see Gift of Power win again. Rock My Soul's in the mix. Henny trialled up pretty nicely, Jason. She is the quality mare in the race with the black type on her pedigree page, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the mix. But yeah, we might just see Gift of Power lead up and win. Just thought Rockin' Affair with that weight swing might give it a shake in race number 3.
Sweens, you've seen the pigeons nesting in my punting backyard, and you've just thrown 3 or 4 cats there to scatter them going against Gift of Power. I thought she was a super bet on the program, but yeah, thanks very much for that. Race number 6, the Manawatu Cup Prelude. This is how things stack up for this 2,000 metre, well, prelude to the Manawatu Cup in a couple of weeks. Hinerangi is $5, Gorbachev $5.50. You've got Scandalo at 6 with Duplicity at 7. Peso, I understand, Stephen, has attracted good support.
That money came out around about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, Jason, this morning, $9 off a peak, $11.50. So a couple punters there suggesting no dramas with the heavyweight of 60 on his back Peso. They are specking Hinerangi and Gorbachev, the two down there with 54 on their back. Hinerangi, best back runner, 6.20 into 5, and Gorbachev, who was well supported yesterday afternoon, 5.15, that second line of betting, off a peak of 6.5. So they're the two that clearly stand out in terms of punters. Like I mentioned, Peso well supported in that middle market. And Jack Star, he probably needs 1 or 2 more runs, but at the moment a losing result at 21s, I should mention to punters listening out there. But best back, Hinerangi in front of Gorbachev.
It's just a matter of waiting when to pull the trigger with Jack Star. He's slowly building and building and building into his preparation, and looks like Gary Vile very much has a plan. Hinerangi, Peso, Bellarmine, China Star look like the speed just depends on how China Star gets away, but from that draw you'd think that Medan would hunt her up, Bevan, to a forward spot.
Yeah, I think she gets the trail. Jason, I really do think she gets the trail. It's going to be my top selection in the race. I think this race just suits her right down to the ground with a couple of kilos off 55. I think she'll go very close to winning. I think she's great value and will be my best value bet on the program. Look, Hinerangi, I don't think they'll hassle her today. Look, she's up to that staying trip. Last start at Wanganui, they had to urge her to get forward, and look, she really kicked back the line. I don't think there's any doubt she'll get the staying trip, but they'll just leave her alone, I believe, in the hands of Lisa Press, and try and find a spot forward of midfield. Probably in the first 4. She'll stay all day. We know her quality, so she's in the mix. Oh, gee, I love Jack Star again here today. Here's Hinerangi, and she is in the Chris Grace colours with the pom-pom, some line down the outside, and I thought she was going to drop out of this race, but just watch her late in this race. She really digs her toes in again and finds, and she just got a little bit unbalanced. She's such a big mare that she needs to get rolling early, so they might make a midfield move here. Here's Scandalo. It's an interesting runner. It has been over a staying trip down south before coming out to Patrick Campbell's and didn't have a lot of success that day, so I like to see them just have one over ground before I get really interested in backing them. But this is a race against Beefeater and other quality horses, and his coat hadn't quite been there before the start. He looked much better this day. We know how tough he was the prior preparation, and he really put on this day. So look, I understand the price, but I just haven't gone with him here this afternoon. Just going to wait for one with him. But he's definitely got the ability. And yeah, the price on Peso, I just forgive that run at Counties on the slow 7. Prior to that, he was very, very good. And if you go back and watch the race against 5 to Midnight, he had no right to go down a lip to him that day. He was got 3 wide working for the entire 2,000 metres and just dug his toes in. So although he's got the 60 kilos, which is always difficult, when you're a good stayer against horses that are on the up, developing towards Wellington Cup, Auckland Cups, and horses that have been about for a while, I think you just stick with the ship, don't you, with Peso? He's got to be in the mix. Look, I'm going to go China Star as value. I'm going to put Hinerangi in as well at reasonable sort of money. Really like what I saw from Jack Star the other day. He, to my eye, was hitting the line as well as anything and was just crying out for further. So I'm expecting a run for him today. Maybe not a winning run, but I think an each way quote and that place price is interesting for mine, and yes, Peso in the mix as well. There's other chances clearly, Jason, but I'm up in 6 to beat 11, 5 and 1.
Lord Master associated with the Eulogy once more, the Group 3 for the fillies, the feature on the program over the 15.50, and Secret Allure, Queen of Diamonds, same price with bookmakers, $2.80, Sentimental Miss, $4.80, and then you've got double figures for the other runners, and I suppose Rocket Fuel is the big lead bookmakers throwing it out at double figures, because last start was very well supported at Ellerslie and a stand by the looks of that. Is that fair to say here, Stephen, your price on Rocket Fuel?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one, Jace, because it is on the quick backup, and it did start one of the favourites in that particular race at HQ. $10.50 on opening during the week. It's now to $12, and that's just representing the lack of money for this individual. Blinkers go on, as does the other runner, the stablemate and ambitious showgirl at $18. from as short as 13 during the week, so both Richardson Parker runners have been notable drifters. Going back up at the top of the book, Secret Allure. Look, this individual opened $3.20 during the week, Jason, and got as short as $2.80. So a lot of the action was on the Lisa Ladder runner. The horse that's proven at Group 1 level, Secret Allure. Won't mind the dead 5 track conditions. The money has dried up just noticeably in the last 24 hours, and it's all flowing for number 4, Queen of Diamonds. If the punters are telling me a decent lead, this horse could start favourite for the Baker Forsman's team. It's now current equal favourite at $2.80. That includes a heavy bet of $5,000 earlier this morning at $3.20, but a decent move on Queen of Diamonds that can make that step up to Group 3 level. Sentimental Miss in that third line of betting, pretty solid at $4.80 off a short price of $4, but probably the story is the Queen of Diamonds being the decent move this morning, the last 24 hours, and could close fave in the Group 3 feature.
Yeah, it's a very significant lead, isn't it, that move for Queen of Diamonds. Also, the market seemingly dropping off Rocket Fuel very quickly. It was a very good run in the Soliloquy, and then last start in the Trevor Eagle Memorial failed. The blinkers go on. She looks the natural leader, so are they saying that she's not going to get the 1550 because the 1500 last start was too far? Well, with the blinkers on and a soft lead, you'll get a chance. Outside of that, Swens, it's pretty messy. It's pretty messy and behind. It's going to take some jockeyship, and that draw, therefore, could be a massive plus for Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah, she's got the draw to win. We just have to, and you have to, and punters around the country have to make up your mind whether coming out of a maiden race against a horse that probably should have won, well, not won, but run much closer in the Guineas, you want to snap up that price. Now, it's disappeared surely from the 3.4 already, so it is now getting short enough for mine. This horse was immense in the Guineas. It got well beaten. Midi Sensation, well ridden by Michael Coleman, had the right spot. And if this horse had a little bit more luck in this race, I certainly think it runs in the money. I think it more than likely runs second in the race. She's got black type on her pedigree page, albeit again at Riccarton. So there is a question mark here at Awapuni. It's only had the one run. It was placed on that occasion in a rating 65. I mean, how do you line that form up against a maiden win at Te Rapa, albeit pretty sharp sort of maiden win, to be fair. I did see this horse at Waverley. It was well beaten by Queen of the Air, but that was over 1,200 metres. It's a horse that's clearly looking for further, possibly even the 1550, but it was sparkling, wasn't it? Got the right run in the race, but once it got through that gap into the right part of the track, it put them away by an absolute margin on this occasion. So it is a very, very good performance. Hard to know for me personally what's in behind it. I'm not sure there was a massive amount in behind it, but it was very, very dominant, and from that gate should get the right run to be right in the mix. Now, this is a horse I've really warmed to. I think Lisa's been very careful with this filly. She had a couple of runs at Waipukurau. The second one of those was eye-catching, blew them off the racetrack at Otaki. The money came this day. It was a leader-biased race. She did have a position 3 back on the inside, but look, she just can't get clear there to really let down. I think if she gets to the centre of the track, she picks up those leading 2 riders and wins. So when I rated that performance, I rated it as a winning performance. With horses dominating on speed under great rides from 2 senior hoops and Parks and Waddell, just dominating that race. Today, from the forward draw, I think Chris Johnson gets this horse out into the open and makes it very, very hard to beat. I'm going to go with the group form, Jace. I'm going with Secret Allure to win, Sentimental Miss to run second, in for third, probably at my peril, Queen of Diamonds, who could come out and just be the real emerging star out of the race. But it's in for third for me. And then I'm with you, Rocket Fuel. There's no reason why this horse can't lead up with a very soft lead. There's blinkers, well, we'll see what happens there in the run, but it'll get every chance to run the 1550 today with the lack of speed inside, and it could lead up and kick from the corner and give them something to chase. So I'm up the 1, 3, 4 and 2, but I think those first 3 really do, in my mind, frank up very evenly in my personal market.
Yeah, reading dispatches, you go to the Cambridge website for track work. Queen of Diamonds has worked very well during the week, and that form boosted just a little bit with Yamuna winning yesterday at Tauranga. So it's a really good race. How about the overall program, Sweens? What did you spend your 100 on?
Well, I'm going a lot of value today, which is a little bit unusual for me, but I went through the fields and I love Real Beach. It was very, very good across the last couple of starts, and it probably should have won at Wanganui last time. Dylan Turner picks up the ride. If he positions this horse up from the draw 4 to midfield 1 off, I think it's very tough to beat. My other black booker for a long period of time off with her headers in that race. I was almost going to back both of them with 50 each way and leave it at that. But I went with Real Beach 50, and in the last, go back and watch the performance of He's a Freak. He's a nice horse. This he really caught my eye last start as a horse that's really going to develop nicely. My value is China Star, and if there's one price on the day that I didn't really understand, it is Platinum Mamselle. Now, Platinum Mamselle goes around in race number 4. Bookies put it up at $31 and $7.50. It comes out of the Lincoln Falls race, which was pretty much a sit and sprint. This horse has been close up behind Bit Lippy as a 2-year-old, went around in black type races. I thought very good on the first day at Hawke's Bay when racing there. I didn't understand the 31 and $7.50, so I'll certainly have a little bit to place on that horse later on in the program. Jason?